The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps. The cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Riftnationnetwork, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, all my wonderful, creepy little weirdo. It's me again, Christina Spencer, your parapsychologist of choice. Typically, I'm guide through the realms of the paranormal, the supernatural, and just plain weird. But today on the podcast, I should say, we do things a little differently. Instead of me telling the story, I'm having somebody tell theirs. So tonight we have a wonderful guy. He's full of stories. He is Jeremy Brunton from The Common Historian. And so let's bring him up. Hey, Jeremy. Hold on. Oh, no. Technical difficulties, as usual. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Good. All right. Well, I understand. I know with your YouTube channel, you do a lot of. You were explaining to me in the backstage that you do a lot. You actually got into history before you got into the paranormal, correct?
Yes. Last, actually, about this time last year, I started my YouTube channel, The Common Historian, and I was doing actually mostly history content. I was that was my vision when I started. Um, and I didn't, I found it wasn't doing very well. And one day I went and did, I can't remember what topic it was, but it had some like paranormal elements in it, and it actually went and did very well. So I was like, oh, well, I started doing more, and here we are now, going now it's almost a year, and I'm continuing to kind of expand. And it started with just kind of the ghosts, and now I've had some experiences now with the cryptids and everything in between. So
Right, right. And it's funny how like we were discussing back or in the the green room, but it was almost the opposite for both of us. Like I got involved with paranormal, and because of my interest in the paranormal and researching it, I learned so much about history. And then by doing that, kind of conjoined what I decided to do with the horror history and haunting, where you literally went on the other side. You were all about the history, and then you discovered the paranormal, and then that's where the worlds collided for you. And I just thought that was so fascinating. It goes to show that people from different worlds can have common ground when it comes to like the cryptids and the parent. I meet all kinds of people at like the festivals and the cons that I've been to this year, and it's all walks of life. It doesn't matter. Like it could be the teeniest little old granny to like the steampunk like rocker dude, with the long hair and the makeup and the whole thing, or a guy dressed up as a crazy clown, and it doesn't matter because we're all connected in that community, and I think that's pretty wild.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of new to the community, but they've been, I think it's a very welcoming community. I reached out initially just reaching out into the dark to do, when I decided I wanted to kind of mix doing videos with interviews, which I started that in August. I just randomly I reached out to a few different like haunted locations, and I got like, oh yeah, we'll do an interview, or some of the paranormal teams. I started out with a local team, and they're actually going to be coming back on to my channel for a second interview, I think early December. I think we're going to be taping that this coming Friday, and it's the Misfits Paranormal crew, and they're hilarious. It was a great show to start. To kick off my interviews,
Right?
and we've been kind of working together since then. What's happened with that is they did, I think it's the Great American Haunt or something like that. I can't remember. It's their Ghost Day haunting. I should have more, but anyway. Well,
It's probably the Great American Ghost Hunting Day, I'm assuming.
And so they had their location and everything. They decided that they said, well, they liked the interview I did with them so well. They were like, oh, can you do the historian part and investigate the location, and give us all the history? So I got them all a report together, and then I went to the actual location and filmed my part, going over the history for them. And now we're kind of going full circle. We're going to have the evidence reveal in an interview coming up in December. So,
Oh, nice.
excited.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. And I was nosing on your profiles because I always like to get a little bit of information. And you come out with this awesome idea because your background in history, to create these like location history cards that you
Yes.
can buy from you that gives you like the basic rundown of a specific town or location, and it's all like the the bullet, like cliff notes of the history, like quick notes.
Yeah, and how I've released two of them so far: the Victorian era and the colonial. You can I have a link on Gumroad. That's where I sell them from, and they can be downloaded. You buy them, download them, and you can either print them off, or you can keep them on your phone for quick reference when you're if you're investigating that type.
You're on an investigation, and you shouldn't be on
Yes.
your phone anyway.
No, you should be, but if you want to have quick reference.
But we all do anyway.
But I do have.
You can only sit in the dark alone for so long.
Yes. I do have more coming. And you also, right now, I'm actually with my tier 2 of my Patreon that I just relaunched. I'm giving those, the people that are in my tier 2 get to download those for free. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good bonus.
Yeah, it's a nice bonus. And then I do have plans to finish this series. There's, I think, about 4 or 5 more sets of those. And then I'm going to start going into other areas with these. I have some big plans, but I'm envisioning a cryptid set, also a UFO set. And then also I'm thinking about doing like Northeast haunted location set.
Yeah, that's the one I would be down to get, is probably the haunted set, location set, because it could be a jumping point, this is just the history, like everything, because you can't really fit everything on a card, but it's a good jumping point to get. Oh, this is what you need to research and how, and I think that's really cool, especially if people don't know how to research. I think that's a lost art. Our generation, I'm a Gen Xer, I don't know if you are too, like we had to do the nitty gritty in the library with the note cards and the pieces of paper, scribbling out, the bibliography codes, and actually pulling the books out. And
oh yeah,
where today it's too easy. Ask AI, and AI can be so wrong. And I see so many people that go to AI for the research. I'm like, it could give you the most batty, out left wing craziness that you can think of, that's not even true. So it's like, you got to be careful. Always double check your research.
Yeah, I think
I'm a firm believer.
AI is good for some things, but it's not for everything. So.
Right. Very true.
And like you said, you were saying that, kind of historical research is kind of a lost art now. I don't know if you noticed that I did release my first modular of the free course I'm giving for how to properly research haunted locations. So that was.
Oh, you're fine, Keith. Love you. I appreciate it.
But yeah, that was that's another, for a part-time job, it's the YouTube is becoming my second job now.
It is. Yeah, especially that's part of the reason I've put a lot of my focus into the podcast, and I don't do my much, but I need to get back into at least making one, hopefully once a month, because I do love it. I love the process of finding a cool story and researching the history and being able to share that with people. I think that's just so cool. But also it's I've always wanted to do this form of content too, and I never got to actually. Well, this is the first time really I've had the guts to get up in camera and not be able to edit and not be able to cut out all the knows and ums and ahs and ands in my brain fart moments where I'm like, what was I saying? Oh yeah. What was that? Squirrel?
I think that as you can see, my I say that often. I think that's why I haven't really moved to a full live yet. I'm just trying to get rid of that, and when I record,
it's hard.
It's easy to just edit those out. So.
Yeah, it's really putting yourself out there, but it is rewarding. Before I forget, Keith said proper research is very, very important on cases. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you, Keith. But absolutely true. We'll get back to that. But the train left the station and it forgot part of its cargo. What was I saying? My goodness. Well, anyway, Keith's comment, it kind of typical ADHD. I'm everywhere at the same time. But yeah, the research is very important. It should be the first priority. Oh, we were talking about starting podcasting. It's like anything new. Like, you have to kind of be willing to fail to succeed, I guess. That's the best way to put it. You got to be willing to like put yourself out there. You're never gonna be liked 100% of the time by every person that you come across. But I'm a firm believer. Like, if you don't like it, it's fine. Just you'll find what you do like. It's like, but it's scary at first. Throw yourself out there, and then you have to know that you're going to fail. And if you're okay to fail, the only thing that you can do is get better and better. And I've noticed, I look back on my first, it's so cringy, and I've got like a blanket behind me, it's my backdrop, and I'm all like, today on, and now I'm just a loud mouth that never shuts up. So, your community comes with your personality, and if they like it, they will come. You just have to be patient. Yeah. So I'm not running I'm not running a sprint. I'm running a marathon, and that's what I'm trying to build as a community, not just a subscriber count. You know what I mean? I want people that actually connect with each other. But that's me.
Yeah. Well, and that's that's kind of where I'm at. I do like that when I get some new subscribers, but I just really I'm proud of I think I had now up to 416 subscribers on YouTube. So, and I think I just enjoy meeting new people and making connections.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's my favorite part. Is just meeting somebody new and having a conversation. That's what makes it worthwhile.
And it's just so fascinating, especially like the haunted locations. Learning about their history, because of course I'm a history buff, but learning about their history, and then seeing the ones especially where they can connect the history to what actual evidence that they have of the paranormal. So I think the big one of the major ones that I can think of that I've interviewed that kind of really does that would be the Greystone Manor in New York. That one, they have multiple evidence of what has happened in their history that directly connects to the evidence that they've gathered. So, which I completely loved. Enjoyed that interview so much with Heather.
That's awesome. And it's always great. Like, when you get an interview and it's easy. Yeah. When you're just having a conversation and things are flowing and things are rock and rolling, everything's good. Like I've had some, when you talk to people, like you can tell with the anxious ones, and you got to kind of pull that information out of them and get them to loosen up. But yeah, everybody's been great. Keith said brain parts are the thing. LML. I'm missing some, evidently, obviously, Keith. Can't you tell? Michelle said exactly like-minded people. Exactly. Para-unity for high strangeness. Most definitely. Like I call my crew on my Facebook, my creepy little weirdos. And I mean that in the most loving, affectionate way. Because we're all, like, we were the weirdos, in school. Like, when we were in school, that clip from The Craft, we're actually the weirdos, mister. That's how I always felt. Because I was the kid in the library reading all the scary stories. And I wasn't the one that was out, like, doing stuff. I'd rather be with my stories, and I was a kid that the whole world opened up to me with the internet, because we didn't have that capability. I can get online and like find stuff out and not have to like dig for hours, which I enjoyed that. I hate to admit it, but I'm a nerd to the core. But yeah.
The one thing I do enjoy too now, I think my wife thinks it's a little weird, but cemeteries are now tourist destinations for me.
Right? You can learn so much about a local cemetery. You can learn about the people that live there, because most cemeteries are marked if they were like a Civil War cemetery, if they were Confederate, if they're Union. How the cemetery is draped out. We have a really fascinating cemetery here in Romney that has an Indian mound inside the cemetery, and it has some of the oldest buried bodies, because the oldest, I forget what it was called, but the old cemetery, they had to disinter the bodies and move them, and a lot of them ended up in it's called the Indian Mound Cemetery, and a lot of them ended up there, including George Washington's uncle. Stayed there for a while, and then they transferred him to Langley. Oh shoot, my brain farted. Anyway, to the historic DC Veterans Memorial.
Oh, okay.
Graveyard. Yeah. My brain, Arlington. That's the name of it. He came. Yes. He came slowly, but he came. But. Yeah, so you can learn so much about a community in a town based on, its graveyards. You really can.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and then you can learn about morality.
Like last year, not this past summer, the summer before, if I had known I was going to start a YouTube channel, we went to Sleepy Hollow. And the main event was the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, of course. So, it was, if I'd have known, I would have got so much content.
I'm awful with the content thing. I will be the first to admit it, because I get so wrapped up in the experience I'm having that I will forget that that's a thing. Like, I need to take pictures. I need to take video. Like, if I'm at, when I was at MainCon, I met all these wonderful pictures, all these wonderful people, but I forgot to take pictures of any of it. So I have the memory, but no proof. But yeah, I have a tendency to get locked into the moment and experience it, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I just need to be more conscientious about what's going on, and it's like, I really should share this with people, like. But you learn, you grow,
Yeah. I had Sleepy Hollow was awesome. I enjoyed that. Salem is on my bucket list for this upcoming year. I do want to go at least spend a weekend there. I've never been. So.
Yeah.
It's
well, I haven't been till this past year. I finally got to go with some friends, and we traveled up to Salem for a weekend, and it was awesome. The people, it's a different breed of the people in Salem. They are so welcoming, and there's so much history and story that's in that town. It'll blow your mind. You'll want to go back, but I advise don't go in October. because everybody wants to go on Halloween, and it's a madhouse. So
Well,
we went in. I think it was like September.
yeah, I
Perfect.
would like to go like August, September, maybe, yeah, anywhere not October. We did
Right?
Sleepy Hollow in October, and that was enough for me. It
Yeah.
wasn't like Salem busy, but it was a madhouse. At least the cemetery was.
Yeah.
So
I find I'd rather like be able to experience something when it's empty than packed with people. That's just me. Like I love people, but when I'm trying to experience a place, I like the quiet. I don't
yeah,
like to be thrust into like a crowd of
yeah.
people. But if I'm speaking, I do fine. I don't know. I'm a weirdo.
No, yeah, I want to go to Salem when it's a little quieter. October, as much as the novelty of it sounds nice, I've seen the people there in October, and that's way too much.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy. I haven't been there, and I don't think I'll ever be in Salem in October. It's too much for me, just personally. It's all the people, and it's just too busy, and I can't. Unless it was like a con or something, that's a little different vibe. Like I can do something like that, but to actually like walk the streets of Salem and do that kind of thing,
Yeah,
in the middle, near Halloween, no, no, that's a no. Hard, or well, I'd say a soft no. It takes some convincing, maybe some alcohol, but
yeah. Alcohol and some convincing. You'll be in Salem in October.
if somebody wanted me there, probably, to be honest. But um, now, with all your research, because I know that you've delved into quite a bit of the more paranormal stuff as of late, what is your favorite ghost story?
Um, my favorite overall. I mean, that's a good question. I've never really thought about it. One of the things that I did actually during Christmas time, my favorite overall ghost story would be um, the, and I'm having a brain fart. Sorry. Um,
You're fine.
and all I'm thinking about is the Disney movie for it. With
The Christmas
Ebenezer,
Carol.
yeah, the Ebenezer Scrooge and all that. Well, I blanked. But anyway, that one
It's
there.
okay, we all do. Like, I have brain
Story,
malfunctions all the
story.
time. It's like Keith was picking
Um,
on me because I'm missing my brain parts.
uh, but yeah, that would be probably my favorite. I made a bunch of shorts on around that um, last year for during Christmas time, and actually they're starting to now pick up steam again. I was just noticing that the other day. People are starting to watch Christmas stuff. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, on the theme of that, past, present, and future, if you had a moment in your past, present, and future to go back and not necessarily change or see, just to see, what would you choose and why?
hmm, um, something I would want to go back to see again,
Hmm.
or hmm, that's, well, let me think here.
That's a hard one because it's a lot of history, like
There's a lot
especially human history. Yeah.
in
And it
human
keeps
history, like
expanding because we
with
keep finding out we're older and older and older as a species than we ever thought we were.
in
So
his, yeah, in history, I think I would probably want to go back and see. I actually probably want to go, like, be in the room where they're like writing the Declaration of Independence. I think
all
that.
night desk that they did some of the. It's in it was in Strasburg, Virginia. I don't know where it went after that, but I knew it was in
Yeah,
Strasburg when I. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
a good
think
one.
that would be.
History wise, that's hard.
It is
Um,
hard. History guys.
Yeah, just to sit and watch something happen. The signing of the Declaration's a good one. A good one for me, I think, may be the Gettysburg Address. When
See,
Lincoln
that was
gave the
my second.
Gettysburg Address.
That was my second. I almost said that.
And I probably would have said the
Gettysburg-
other one. Yeah.
Well, Gettysburg as itself is another bucket list place for me. I will get there eventually.
Yeah, I haven't been to Gettysburg yet, but yeah, I do want to get there. Maybe that'll be on my wish list of places to go for next year. Trying to make it to Gettysburg, because everybody's always like, "You're going to Gettysburg, right? You're going." I'm like, no, not this year, because I'm a broke ass bitch with no money. Maybe next year.
And actually, I do have. Speaking of Gettysburg, I do have an upcoming interview with one of the tour guides from the Farms. What is it? Sorry, the Farnsworth House Inn there. So I'm excited about that interview. That's coming in.
Oh, that's cool.
So I think they're like
Me too, Gettysburg.
yeah, I think they were
I
just
like that.
recently rated the number fourth most haunted place in America by USA Today. I don't know how they determined that, but
Yeah, I don't know what the criteria
I'm not
is
sure
for
what
that.
the criteria is.
I think Project Fear just did one of their episodes on that place. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. It's so hard to keep up with everyone.
Michelle said, "Nice, nice."
So, but yeah, that's an upcoming interview, and I think that'll be airing sometime in December. I don't know I can't remember the exact date that I have it scheduled for, but it will be airing in December. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Stay tuned for that one, guys. Tune in. Yeah, that was what I was surprised about too when I started the podcast, because I'm like, I have all these people on Facebook that I know, but I'm the type of person I like to know a person not because they are like what they do in the community, but as a person.
Yeah,
That people are like, in these, they plan at conventions, or they do this or they do that. I never think about it that way. So when I started doing the podcast and I started thinking about people, I'm like, well, who can I ask? Who would want to be on my little Peasley podcast in the middle of Appalachian Mountain Woods? And I have been just blown away at the amount of positive feedback I got. And I feel so bad because I had to cancel on a couple because of the weather. I will be in contact with you guys. I promise, first of the year, I will get you back on. But just the sheer amount of people that just came out and be like, yeah, I volunteer as tribute. Like, I'll be on like next week if you want me. And you'll discover
I've started to find that people are coming to me. I'm not having to go ask as much, and I've only been doing it for 3 months, but I'm getting people that are messaging me. Oh, if you need someone, so which is nice.
Yeah, it's always nice if you don't have to go like, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you? Can you please do it? Yeah, it's nice when somebody just comes up to you. It's like, oh, I'd love to be on your podcast. I've seen what you do or whatever. It's wild to me. I had somebody, I was in a chat room the other day, and I mentioned, because next year I plan to go to MaineCon again and be on the paranormal panel up there. And one of the girls that was in the group, she's like, oh my God, I'm going. I finally get to meet you in person. I've been dying to meet you, and I get to actually meet you in person. And that filled me with, like, that was a highlight of my week. It really was, because it was just, because we've chit-chatted a little bit, but I never felt like I had that kind of impact on anybody. And it's so cool to see people like come up and be like, oh my God, like I get to talk to you. And I'm like, I'm a nobody from bumfucked West Virginia, pardon my language, middle of nowhere. West Virginia. Sorry, YouTube. But
you know what? I can't say for sure, but I would like to attend Maine Paracon this coming year. It's something I would like to do. Not confirmed though.
yeah, if anybody gets the chance, I'm going to do a little shout out for Jeff. Love you, Jeff. But in danger. If you ever the main con, take it up because it last year was the first ever that they did, and it was mind blowing. The amount of people and the fact, like, it blew me away because I didn't realize how many people I actually knew that were there until I got there. And then I started walking out. I'm like, oh my God, April, it's you. Oh my God, Patty, it's you. Oh my God. It's like, that was so cool. And like, I've never did any speaking at a convention before. And it was my first time like speaking, talk about my passions and everything, and it was so cool because afterwards like people came up and they're like, hey, I have this question, or can I talk to you a minute? And I was just like, oh, this is, it made me feel so happy that I was a little bit, I think, better received. But getting back on MaineCon, they're planning next year to be even more epic than last year. They're having like I doubt said limousine. My word. A hearse competition. They're having all new guests, celebrity guests. And then a lot of the vendors that were there this year will be again back. I think April's going, April Bressett. I think Patty's planning on going too. Patty Negri.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that were there last year that will be back this year. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited.
I saw all the pictures, and I was, excited for everyone there. And it's hopefully that's a
cross your fingers. Hopefully,
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know what their qualifications are for that. I know that with the speakers and stuff, they kind of let you know a little bit ahead of time. And if you do get the invite, oh my God, the invitation even is awesome. I'm not going to say anything in case you get it, so you can experience firsthand. But whoever come up with that invitation, mwah, chef's kiss. It's so awesome. That's all I'm going to say. Because there's this whole video vibe, and it's really cool. It's very horror movie.
Oh,
it's so cool. It's something to look forward to if you're doing.
I like horror too, so
Oh, I love horror. Like, I'm not one of those that can quote every movie, but
no, I can't either. But I really like a lot of Stephen King. Stephen King.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Another reason to go to.
It depends on. If I read the book before, sometimes I have some negative reactions.
Oh, yeah, sometimes they ruin it. I have some kind of fantasy series that they've kind of ruined for me because I read the books.
Are you talking about the Dark Tower?
It's the one with why can't I am just not thinking tonight. It was just on like I think it was HBO Max. It has like Rand Althor. Wheel of Time. That's what it is. The Wheel of Time series.
Oh, okay.
I read that series when I was probably, I think, maybe in my teens, early 20s. And
okay.
The movie, they put a lot of money into it. The episodes. It wasn't like it was low quality. There's just so much in the books that they left out or altered that it wasn't as enjoyable. Especially since
I get that because they have to leave a lot of the internal monologues and self-motivations and stuff out of the movies. I get that, but when they delete entire characters that are like to the main plot line, that's when I implode and suffer greatly.
Yeah.
with frustration. But well, getting back on that, is there anything when we were talking about the Christmas Carol, we talked about the past. What would be something that you would want to see what would happen in the future? What would be the one thing that you would check out if you could experience like 20 years in the future?
Hmm. Um, that's a good question. Let me think. I probably would want to. I think I'd want to go back to my hometown and just see what it looks like in the future.
Oh, that's cool.
I come from a small town in Vermont, small rural town in Vermont. I live in New York now, but I grew up in a small town in Vermont, um, on the foot of a mountain. So
The
I've
Vermont foothills is what they
yes,
would say around here.
yeah. Basically, it was the foot of J Peak. J Peak. I don't know if you ever heard of it. But it's a ski area in Vermont. But um, I grew up going up the mountain. So it
That would
was
be cool. That'd be interesting to go back and see what future holds for a small town. That's for sure. I come from a real small town too. Like, I'm talking, I graduated with 24 students in my class, like a small school. And we were stuck together from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. In the same class with the same people. It got to be, I didn't
my
have the best high
graduating
school experience.
my graduating eighth grade class. I think there was 16 of us in eighth grade
So,
before we got yeah. The whole school had
yeah, there's
100
a
kids.
Yeah, it small town vibes, man. There's nothing like a small town vibe. Like you got in trouble at school, you know it when you got home you were in trouble because the principal knew where your parents worked, and not like on a slip of paper. Like they probably knew the owner of the building that their parents worked at, and like
Yep.
you
Everybody knew everyone.
ooh, yep.
Mm.
And everybody mind if you misbehave, let me tell you. But that's small town
Oh
living.
yes. Yep.
What's
Yes. And everyone
your
knew.
favorite? Because
Oh,
I know history is like your strong suit. What is your favorite period of history?
my favorite would be the medieval history. Um, more English history. I really like all of. Well, really, it's mostly medieval to medieval would be my. I'm trying like in my mind. It's like there's a couple different ones. I really do like the American Revolution period of American history. Ben Franklin's my favorite founding father.
Oh, he was a
So
wild man. Oh my gosh, was that man a wild man? Like to be one of our founding fathers and to create like a form of government. He didn't abide by any rules himself. That guy would like if you time to research Ben Franklin and some of the things, especially in his nighttime hours, that man partied harder, I think, on the North American continent. He was a
yeah,
wild dude.
yeah. Well, he's my favorite founding father. Um, and I have been to Philadelphia, but I've never went to. I think I'm pretty sure he's buried in Philadelphia, if I remember correctly. His parents, I did go
I'm not
to
sure.
Boston and saw their graves. I believe he's buried in Philadelphia. Um, and I did do the whole Boston historical tour. I did that 2 years
Oh, that's
ago.
cool.
That was fun. I did it all on my own. I was at a conference there for my work. I'm a national sales manager at an ed tech company, and we had a
Okay.
conference. Well, we spent the first day, the second day, I got up at like 5:30. I didn't have to be there till 9. I went and did the whole Freedom Trail. I walked the whole Freedom Trail that morning. I couldn't really go into some of the places because they were all closed still, but I wanted to. It was a goal of mine. I wanted to go and walk the Freedom Trail, and I did. So I was
That's
I was
cool.
very happy about it. I actually have some. I think I have the pictures on my Facebook. So
That's
that
awesome.
I took that day.
And I can tell you honestly, it doesn't matter where you visit, you can't see it all in one visit. And there's always a reason to go back. Like
Yeah.
when we went to Salem, like we checked out a couple things, but there were so many other things that I didn't get to go to Blackcraft. I didn't get to go to like Satanic Temple. I didn't get to go. I did walk around the cemetery where the memorial is for the people that were burned at the stake,
Yeah.
and hear that story. And we did a couple other things, but like I would go back. I would go back in a heartbeat to Salem. Like,
Well, I've
yeah,
done some
for
of my
real. So it's
genealogy.
probably the same.
I've done quite a bit of genealogy because I got into that. I was like obsessed with genealogy for a good year, and I did a lot of my family history. And I'm actually, it's a little distant, but I am actually related to Giles Corey, the one
Oh,
that
that's
was
cool.
pressed. Yeah,
Hmm.
um, yeah, on my mother's side. So I thought that was kind of cool. Um,
Yeah, they kind of his own badass back in the day, because
yeah,
even though he was executed in the most brutal, and it was
yeah,
all trying to get him to confess, and the fact like he was more weight, like it was his like fu to the the
yeah.
hierarchy there that we're trying to make him. He's like he knew he wasn't, and he wasn't going to give them the satisfaction to kill him anyway. And I just, he's kind of badass back in the day,
Oh
standing up
yeah,
for himself.
and he was
Like,
pretty tough
but
for.
that's a tragic story.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And that's probably the big reason why there's quite a few haunted places in Salem, due to
Hmm.
the emotions and tragedies that happen there, injustices, I should say.
Right, right. And that was one thing that we did do. One of the ghost tours there in Salem. I can't remember our tour guide. She was so fabulous. I know I've posted about it on Facebook. If you want to know, go look it up on Facebook. I can't for the life of me remember her name, and I know I'm going to say it wrong. She was so great, and she told us the story about the blue lady, which was a very tragic story about a woman who fell in love with the wrong man, basically. And,
Oh no.
they ran off to get married, and then the jealous, person that wanted her showed up and killed the guy. It's a tragic tale. Like, it's so sad. But
Yeah.
they took us to like the location and where supposedly she got murdered and where she was married. I know that was one of the stories they told. They told us a couple, and they took us around, all the hot spots for Hocus Pocus where they filmed like the outside. But it was really cool.
Yeah. Hocus Pocus. That one of my favorite movies. I'm not. The second one was all right. I wasn't
Yeah.
overly. Yeah, it was all right. And I heard there's a third one coming out.
Oh,
But we'll
really?
see.
That doesn't
Yeah,
surprise.
I've
Disney
heard.
Disney will make a triple, quadruple, until people just stop being interested anymore. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Um, this past year, or this past October, I went to Wilson's Castle, in Vermont. Awesome. Lo- other than the pink room closet, that I felt like I was choking. It
Ooh.
was so heavy. I don't know, and I don't investigate or do any of that, but I do like the atmosphere in the pink room, and I can't remember the lady's name, but it's different. I don't know if you never been to have you been to Wilson's Castle?
No, I've been invited a couple times. I need to go, but it's like every time somebody asks, I either have something going on or I don't have the money to go.
I so much want to
I definitely want to make it out
I
there.
want to go back. I really enjoyed it. We went for a day trip. I see Sam is going there. Release his book in June.
Hmm.
You know, very tempted to go then.
If you don't know who we're talking about Sam Trees. He does a lot of historical ghost story, not and like it's not fiction or nonfiction. He's really cool dude if you ever get to meet him. I've known him for a number of years online. I actually got to meet him in person in Maine for the first time. It was cool.
I've never met him. I've chatted with him online, but that's all I've done so far.
He's a good guy. He's very sweet, very like he was very friendly. Like he spotted me. He's like, "Give me a hug."
So
very cool guy.
Reason I really got to talk to him, and it was one of probably my most embarrassing moment on you since doing YouTube. I put up a short on Salem, and now I make sure I check all sources because I for some reason did not check. I was like, I didn't even know. I wrote it in, and I had seen it online, and I didn't really. And I was like, oh well, it was like one of the ghost hunting websites, and they had this fact on there, and I was, oh, I didn't know that, so I put it in a short. Well, he commented and told me that it was very not true. Needless to say, that video I took down immediately. I was quite embarrassed. That's probably my most embarrassing moment in my short YouTube career. But it was a learning experience. I was like, I will do what I preach, because it was just like I needed to put something. I felt I needed to put something out, and I rushed it a little more than I should have. And never rush your videos. That was the lesson I learned there.
Right?
Don't rush.
Well, I did something very similar. I was fascinated in cases. So when I first started making videos, one of the first videos I did was of David Glatzel's possession. And in doing that, like I heard the Arnie Johnson, the devil made me do it, and the satanic rocking chair. Well, I, in my naivety, didn't realize when I was doing the research, Arnie's name, entire series of videos that I made, I called him Arn. The entire series. Arn Johnson. And I apologize profusely, Arnie. I messed that up. Because later,
one thing that
later he the Nesper guys called me on it. He's like, "Do you realize his name's Arnie, not Arn?" I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. But that's part of putting yourself out there. You make mistakes. Like, I've never changed it. I've left it up. A lot of people haven't seen it.
Yeah. Mine was a big mistake. I still kick myself but I took that down immediately. I was like, no, I'm not leaving anything that's not, 100% factual up.
I got it.
So, but it was a good learning experience for me. To kind of do what I preach, because it was something I knew I should have double checked everything, and I keep replaying it in my head, and I'm like, I should have. You
can't do that though. you can't, like, everybody makes mistakes, and that's why I've left it up, because I started because I debated there for a hot minute about deleting some of my older content,
Yeah.
and then my boyfriend said, "Why?" He's like, you're erasing your history of your channel by doing that." It's like, you can go back in that and see how you've grown over each video, one after the other, how you've gotten better and everything. He's like, I wouldn't delete it. That's who you were at the moment. That doesn't mean that's who you are now. And I'm like, valid. I'm like, in 20 years, I may want to go back and watch that first video or the first couple videos when I was so awkward and weird.
Well, I cringe.
Well, I'm always weird, but
I kind of cringe at some of mine because, like, I was like, like I would be a talking head in the side, and I would be recording in the dark, and like the lighting was horrid, and I'm like, oh my, I'm like, oh my, it was bad. The content,
Oh,
the
yeah.
content overall was good, but just me in the little corner, and I'm like, completely dark. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I cringe when I go back to look at some of that. And that's what was only
I do too. Like back on the blanket days with the background and like, oh yeah, I cringe at that. And like, I sound like I was going, like talking a mile away and like echoey and yeah, like you learn, you grow. Like I didn't know how audio worked. You learn.
Oh my editing,
But
my editing. I've learned a lot more on editing. That came slowly, but it's been a fun journey.
right, like like for me, it's hard to get into it because I know when I start editing, it's going to be a big project, and I have trouble motivating on big projects till last minute, and I don't really have a deadline when I'm doing it for myself anyway. More or less, I'm doing it for everybody. Don't get me wrong, but when I don't have like a deadline and have
Yeah.
somebody like looming over me saying, "Hey,
Well,
you need to get that report done,"
yeah.
I'm hard to motivate.
Well,
So once I get into it, like I love editing. I love the creative process of making this into like a whole thing. But
it's like when I usually take my interviews ahead of time, and I edit them usually the week of the interview coming out on the Saturday, and I keep like this week's interview. I haven't started editing, and I'm like, I really need to start editing. But I know that when I start editing, I'm going to be there for usually it's like 2 or 3 hours, and I'm like, it's not bad, but it takes up a lot of time when you have to just sit there and I make myself finish it. If I start it, I want to finish it.
right,
Yeah.
I feel that, and it's like you don't know if it's going to be an hour or 5 hours, and then do I want to get technical and do little pop-ups and creative
Well,
things?
yeah.
Make I
Well,
yeah, it gets hard.
well, and I don't know if some of my interviews I've tried to add like sounds. One of the interviews I did with one of the Haunted Boys, the paranormal group, the Haunted Boys, and
Hmm.
I tried to add a squeaking door during one of this, like when he was telling a story. And at the time, I thought it sounded good. Well, I cut like a clip of it to do like a YouTube short for, and I played it. I think I did release it in the end, but I was like, I wasn't happy with it after listening. I was like, I was annoyed by the door and distracted by it. And I'm like, I really shouldn't have had that there. I should have just taken that out, or softened it or something. But again, learning, learn.
Yeah, there's a learning curve
Yeah.
to it. Absolutely, like most definitely. Like we have sound effects and stuff. We have a soundboard, but I don't mess with it because I'm afraid because of delays and stuff, it's going to seem awkward or weird. So I avoid it. And everybody's like, "Why don't you just use it?" I don't know, because I feel weird about it. I don't know.
And I've been playing with like putting when someone's talking, like putting another image to the side of them and doing split screens. I don't know if it's helping or not, but you know, from what I read, it's supposed to make it more entertaining than just two talking heads.
Well, that's what I do. We do two talking heads because, like, I'm afraid too much. Like, I'll freak out. That's just me, though. My anxiety with it. I'm gonna mess it up. No, don't make me do more stuff. No,
Yeah.
I like simple, basic.
Yeah.
I'm a basic. Can't say that. I caught myself that time. You proud of me, Howie? Well, we're already an hour. That went by super fast.
Right,
Like,
good.
you know, it was gonna. It's over already. Or like we signed off from. Whoa, words English, maybe. Let's try it again. Before we sound off for the evening, thing like you want to poke, plug, bring up.
You know, I if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, The Common Historian, check that out. I do, you know, shorts. I do occasional longer videos on specific places. Mostly, I do weekly interviews. And you know, if you like what you see, subscribe. And I also do have a Facebook group as well, and a Patreon. So check those all out.
And I put all the links to all his socials and his Patreon and everything in the description. And you should be able to go from there to check out where you can pick up his cards and things.
And I do have some decently, you know, some good stories coming out in the next month. So check that out. You know, there's going to be, I'm going to be exploring this week British Columbia haunted history.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm also going to be, I think the following week, we're going to be Charleston. I think it was Charleston. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, Southern haunted history, because I can't remember that.
You're talking about Charleston, North Carolina?
Actually, yeah, I think it's Carolina.
South Carolina.
Charleston,
That's
yeah.
it. Geography, I'm not that good at.
I'm blanking, but anyway, I do have the haunted history. British BC is going to be on the 22nd, and then the 29th, I'll be interviewing Dennis W. Carroll. So, and we're going to talk about some. Well, we talk about a lot of things, but you know, some
Some southern spooky stuff. All the hints down in there. Down in the southern region.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
well, make sure you check out Jeremy Brunton on his YouTube channel. And like I said, all the links are in the description. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. If you hung out here to the end, I greatly appreciate you. I love you. And as always, thank you for watching. And sweet dreams. Bye-bye, guys. I gotta find the exit video. I always forget it up. Here it goes.